subscribe button, share, and do not forget to click on the bell icon. Flow 94.9 FM, the flow of God's own states. Join our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Flow 949 FM. And now, introducing our YouTube channel, Flow 949 FM. Flow 949 FM. Watch us live as we bring you trending news, politics, and lots of entertainment content. All you have to do is go to YouTube, type Flow 949 FM, click on the subscribe button, share, and do not forget to click on the bell icon. Flow 94.9 FM, the flow of God's own states. Join our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Flow 949 FM.
News now. News now.
News now.
News now.
And now, introducing our YouTube channel, Flow 949 FM. Flow 949 FM. Watch us live as we bring you trending news, politics, and lots of entertainment content. All you have to do is go to YouTube, type Flow 949 FM, click on the subscribe button, share, and do not forget to click on the bell icon. Flow 94.9 FM.
Now the headlines. NJC summons emergency over Justice Walter Onogen's suspension. APC removes Okorocha as Imo campaign coordinator. Governor Kezi Bazoson insists on fairness and equity ahead of Abia governorship election. And on the foreign scene, 10,000 protesters march in Paris against yellow vest violence. My name is Mercy Orji. Now the news in details. The presidency has said that President Muhammadu Buhari contravened no law as amended in the constitution with regards to the suspension of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onogen. The senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, who made this known, noted that it is wrong to see Onogen's suspension as political intimidation of anyone. He restated federal government's warning on international community against meddling in the internal affairs of Nigeria.
We are interested in being assisted to improve our elections and to grow our democracy. However, where these attempts aimed at dividing our people or sowing seeds of discontent or trouble, no, this government will not accept. In this particular instance, most of the argument put against us by those foreign countries says that this is the wrong time. 3 weeks to elections, you don't do a thing like this. There's no holy day on which
the union said it would deliberate on the happenings in the judiciary and take a stand after the meeting. A senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, has asked Justice Walter Onogen to quit the bench after his suspension must have been lifted by President Muhammadu Buhari. The human rights activist further argued that the executive and the judiciary arms of government has failed Nigerians with regards to the case of Justice Walter Onogen. He said after the suspension has been lifted, the Chief Justice should quit the bench because he has already admitted that he failed in his duty to declare his asset as required by the Constitution.
You can't fight corruption without following due process. Therefore, I'm going to advise, honestly, that the government should, as a matter of urgency, lift the suspension on the Chief Justice, and since the Chief Justice has so much to, on his own, admitted that he did not declare his asset, he should do the needful by calling it quit. Because once you have admitted that I failed in my duty to declare my asset as required by the Constitution, you must learn to be civilized.
The Coalition of United Political Parties, CUPP, has raised an alarm over an alleged plot to take over the leadership of both chambers of the National Assembly as lawmakers reconvene on Tuesday, January 29th, 2019. While addressing a press conference in Abuja on Sunday, CUPP spokesperson Ikenga Ugochinyere described the fresh plot as violent, undemocratic, unlawful, and illegal. Ugochinyere further accused the ruling party of inducing the lawmakers with hard currency in a bid to change the leadership of the National Assembly. The National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress has removed the Imo State Governor, Rochas Okorocha, as the state coordinator of the party's campaign council. The decision followed the recommendation of the disciplinary committee set up by the Imo APC over allegations of anti-party activities leveled against the governor and others. The committee, chaired by Matthew Omegara, had earlier summoned the governor and 6 others to appear before it. Hundreds of civil society leaders, lawyers, and opposition politicians have stormed the United States U.S. Embassy in Abuja to demand intervention in the alleged constitutional crisis ignited by President Muhammadu Buhari with the removal of Walter Onnoghen as Chief Justice of Nigeria. The protesters, who were jointly led by CUPP spokesman Imo Ugochinyere, Comrade Ario, and Charlie Boy, called on the NBA to announce total shutdown and ban any lawyer from appearing or recognizing Justice Muhammad Tanko as CJN.
We came here today to send a message loud and clear to the whole world that our constitutional governance is under siege, that the president is about to crash constitutional democracy. He committed a grave act of treason when he used a forged document that came from Omar Danladi to announce the factionalization of the Supreme Court.
It's unfortunate that most of us are sleeping and Nigeria is derailing. This kind of thing cannot be allowed to go for too long. I mean, we can now start to see the handwriting on the wall.
Yes.
If we don't do nothing now, we'll have ourselves to blame sooner than later.
Members of the Nigeria Labour Congress will today storm the National Assembly for the public hearing on the new national minimum wage bill, which was forwarded by the presidency last week. President of the Workers' Union, Ayuba Waba, said after a meeting of the Central Working Committee of the NLC that it was out of procedure for the federal government to reduce the figure presented to it by the committee without involving other groups in the committee.
And the second leg of it is also for the National Assembly to look at those issues of which will commence adequate mobilization to ensure that the right thing is done, because some of this information is not before the public. And once a collective bargaining process has taken place, social partners are expected to actually respect the outcome of the collective bargaining process. So the CWC outrightly rejected the move to actually reduce that amount. In collective bargaining process, you can only bring your position as a member of the tripartite when the negotiation is going on, but not at the conclusion.
Governor Keze Bazu is insisting that equity, fairness and justice must be considered in the decision on who governs Abia State. Speaking to select journalists at Governor's Lodge, Aba, Governor Keze Bazu said the founding fathers of Abia State came up with Charter of Equity to guarantee fairness and peaceful coexistence among all the component units of the state, and urged politicians to demonstrate sense of justice in their aspirations.
Because it is about respect for all of the people of Abia State, especially people from Abia South. And I hear people say, oh, no, Abia is in a state of emergency and there's need for a doctor. So when the doctor comes, nobody should ask where the doctor comes from. But if Abia is conscious enough to ask questions, Abia could ask, this doctor, the last patient you treated, how is he or she? Is he alive or dead? If the patient is dead, I would decline treatment from that same doctor. But I have to say this, nobody has exclusive privilege of knowledge to turn things around. Nobody.
Abia State is classified as a danger zone, according to the report of threat analysis carried out by a non-government organization, the Clean Foundation, ahead of 2019 general elections. The Abia State Election Observation Coordinator of Clean Foundation, Sam Ikuribe, confirmed the report in an exclusive interview with Flow FM News in Omuahia.
At Clean Foundation, we did a security threat assessment across the country, and we identified states. Some had orange color, some had red. And incidentally, the Abia state has red, which shows that there might be issues. For the benefit of hindsight, you look at Abia State, it's almost the headquarters of the agitation for Biafra and IPOB activities. So no matter whatever group, during elections, things are high.
He urged security operatives to be at alert to forestall any act of violence.
Also, during the last elections, you found out that we had hotly contested positions in the governorship, so which led to a runoff. So, and those same actors are still going to contest now. So, when we look at it that way, we need the police to be alert, just in case there's anything, to be sure that we have covered all the ground.
The Clean Foundation, formerly known as a Center for Law Enforcement Education, promotes public safety, security, and accessible justice through the strategies of empirical research and legislative advocacy in partnership with government, civil society, and the private sector. Meanwhile, the Abia State Police Command has described the threat analysis report as futuristic, stating that Abia State is not a danger zone. The State Commissioner of Police, Chris Ezike, in his reaction to the report, disclosed that the police had classified the 17 local government areas of the state as flashpoints while reassuring residents and visitors of their safety ahead of the elections.
The threat analysis we just concluded yesterday fingers all the 17 local governments. It is still futuristic. It is based on our evaluation and analysis with history, what we know, what we do not know, and what we would want. The futuristic nature of threat analysis govern your deployment, govern your intelligence gathering, govern your ears on the ground, and govern on which political actors to set your watch on. Abia is not a danger zone. IPOB is a proscribed organization.
The Commissioner of Police said the command is effectively collaborating with sister security agencies to efficiently police the election. News now on Flow 94.9 FM continues shortly with business, foreign, and sports news. Stay tuned.
Radio, radio, radio.
It's not just radio anymore. Flow 94.9 FM brings you something big and new. Let's give you that camera light action effect, which is also moving over to the business news. The federal government has released funds for the purchase of 12 Super Tucano aircraft from the United States of America in its bid to fight terrorism in the Northeast. Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal S.B. Abubakar, who stated this at a meeting with journalists in Abuja, also said the military was winning the war against terror. He disclosed that the Nigerian Air Force was also seeking private sector partners to complement the futuristic plans for further investments in advanced weapons technologies, especially the manufacturing and deployment of unmanned aerial vehicles, otherwise known as drones. Moving over to the foreign scene, more than 10,000 people marched through Paris yesterday in protest at yellow vest violence during the anti-government demonstration that has drawn tens of thousands of people to the streets over the past 11 weeks. Since mid-November, President Emmanuel Macron has offered concessions and debates seeking to quell the weekly rallies that often end in violent clashes with police in the most serious challenge yet to his government. In Sunday's rival protest, the crowds marched in rain from the Place de la Nation Square to the Bastille Monument, some chanting yes to democracy, no to revolution, as they waved French and European Union flags. Now for the sports update, we have David Oku in the studio.
Okay, thanks, Messi. Good afternoon, all. Let's begin from the world of wickets, as India's Ambati Rehudu has been banned from bowling in international cricket because of a suspect action. Part-time bowler Rahudu was reported after India's one-day international defeat by Australia on 12 January. He failed to submit a test of his action within the stipulated 14 days. The suspension will remain in place until he is tested and can demonstrate he is able to bowl with legal action, say the statement from the International Cricket Council, ICC. And now to transfer stories. Chelsea and France striker Olivier Giroud says he could return to play in his homeland after the Blues finally signed Argentina international Gonzalo Higuain on loan from Juventus. And Paris Saint-Germain's France midfielder Adrien Rabiot has rejected Tottenham because the 23-year-old wants to join Liverpool instead. Still staying with PSG, they have made a bid of £21.5 million to sign Everton's Senegalese midfielder Idrissa Gueye, but the Toffees say the 29-year-old is not for sale. And head coach Thomas Tuchel has urged the Ligue 1 champions to hurry up and sign new players before the transfer window closes. The French champions are interested in Napoli's Brazilian midfielder Alan, who's 29 years of age. That transfer story wraps it up in Sports News Update. My name is David Oku. I hand you back to Messi Orji.
Thank you very much for that, David Oku. You're listening to News Now on Flow 94.9 FM Wahia. Just before we go, let's take another look at our headlines. NJC summons emergency over Justice Walter Onoyen's suspension. APC removes Okorocha as Imo campaign coordinator. Governor Keze Bazu insists on fairness and equity ahead of Abia governorship elections. And on the foreign scene, 10,000 protesters march in Paris against yellow vest violence. Thanks for being with us. Do remember, your vote is your right to a better Nigeria. Do not sell it. Do join us at 6:45 a.m., noon, and 6 p.m. every weekday for additional newscast. This is Flow 94.9 FM, the flow of God's own state. You can send your views or information to flowfmnews@gmail.com or visit www.flownews.com.ng for more stories. This bulletin was edited by Precious Chima. Supervising editor, Samson Eze. I am Mercy Orji. Have a great afternoon.
Join our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Flow949FM. And now, introducing our YouTube channel, Flow949FM. Watch us live as we bring you trending news, politics, and lots of entertainment content. All you have to do is go to YouTube, type Flow949FM, click on the subscribe button, share, and do not forget to click on the bell icon. Flow 94.9 FM, the flow of God's own state.